a little overboard. So we're gonna go to real or nah. Now I'm gonna leave everybody to go ahead and get you relaxed and everything, but because this is kind of long, this 4 minutes long. But I have to play the whole thing, and I'm just gonna let you know that yeah, I don't believe this.
I work as a security guard for one of the few hospitals in our city. Besides dealing with combative patients and visitors and doing patrols around the campus, we occasionally get asked to assist with getting people out of their vehicles and escorting them by wheelchair to the emergency department or their appointment at an on-site clinic. Today, a couple of nurses came to our office asking for our help. They had received a call from a gentleman who we will call Gerald, asking for help to get out of their car, as he was in severe pain. I went out with the nurses, pushing a wheelchair and radioing my partner to come assist, as it sounded like it was going to take some extra hands to help him out. It took a little bit for us to find him, but we found him thanks to him blowing his car horn for all to hear. Now, I have interacted with dramatic people before, and this guy was no different. He told us all about how he was in so much pain, how he drove himself all the way over here and couldn't move the car anymore, and how he needed to be treated. We tried to offer help, but he refused to grab our arms or hands to steady himself, relying on the car door and the wheelchair to get himself in it. Once he got himself settled, he asked me to move the vehicle to a better parking spot. After all, he had handicap stickers and he needed the space to get in when he finished his visit here, so I obliged, feeling a little bit odd about the whole situation, and moved his car to a handicap spot near the ED entrance. Gerald got checked in at the ED and we were done with the situation. At least that's what I thought. Boy, were we wrong. Not even 20 minutes later, I get told that this guy wanted to leave and wanted us to take him back to his car. Apparently, he started complaining and moaning about how the wait time was too long. Keep in mind that there were people in the waiting room who had been there for hours. The ED was very full today, and this guy couldn't stand being there for even just a few minutes. I first checked with ED staff because I was worried about the fact that he himself said he couldn't drive. They told me that since they hadn't triaged him and he wanted to leave so soon, they legally couldn't hold him here even if they wanted to, which they didn't care that much since they were already busy with treating their patients. So I went back out to the ED and I asked him point blank if he was really sure he wanted to leave, because I didn't want to be held responsible in case he drove and got into an accident. But he said yes, he wanted to leave right then and there. So I reluctantly pushed him out of the ED and towards his car. This is where my malicious compliance begins. Gerald starts saying, verbatim, "When we get to my car, I'm gonna call the ambulance." Me. Wait, what? Gerald. Yeah, gonna call an ambulance. I can't drive, and I don't like anyone here except for you. They're too slow here, and I'm not gonna spend all night here. Besides, calling an ambulance will get me to a room quicker, and I can get help with my pain. Me. So, you want to call an ambulance to take you to the ED when you're already here at the ED? And all that because the wait time is too long for you? Yeah. Me. You realize that if you call an ambulance, they may just take you back to the waiting area and have you wait there, right? Yeah, I know that. I'm still gonna call. Well, okay, if that's really what you want to do. So after helping the guy to his car, I decided to let him do just that. At that point, there was nothing else I could really do. After all, I'm just a security guard, not his doctor. So I just pushed the wheelchair back inside and went about my business. About 30 minutes later, I'm looking at the security footage, and right there next to the guy's car is an ambulance. My jaw dropped. The guy actually called 911 for an ambulance, and they came. I continued to watch as the EMT workers helped this guy into a gurney and placed him into the ambulance. Then, to my utter shock, they drove off campus. I had thought they were going to drop him off back here, but they left for another hospital. I then realized a couple of things. One, this guy's going to another hospital and going to be gone for who knows how long. Two, when he gets discharged, he's not going to have a ride home because, you guessed it, his car is here at the hospital. Plus, our policy is that if a car is parked in our lot for longer than a few days and we've confirmed that the owner is not here, we have to call the police and report an abandoned vehicle. So this guy is now getting additional costs added to his medical expenses because he took the ambulance, possibly has to wait even longer in another ED before he can even be seen, and he may rack up some fines for abandoning his car, depending on how long it's there. All because he didn't want to wait in the ED with everyone else. But hey, I guess 20 minutes was way too much for him.
But wait, there's more.
There ain't no more to that. Even if it is, I don't want to play it.
Well, I want to say this real quick, because I have a lot of people in my family who deal with chronic pain. It's hard to quantify or quite relate to the decisions that a person will make when they deal with that type of pain, especially if he's someone who does have chronic pain. For him to say that he's in a lot of pain, it's a lot of pain. So his decisions may not be rational to what we would say. And so from that standpoint, I understand, or I at least accept what he decided to do. Now, outside of it, of course, you have now, inconvenienced an emergency team that could have been helping someone else. You've now created a situation at the hospital that you were already at just because you couldn't wait a little bit longer after already waiting to get there. So like on the outside, logically, from a business standpoint and the operations of a facility, you can see all the stuff that's wrong with this. But from a human standpoint, it's really hard for me to get in his head there. And then the only other thing, so he's the security guard, and he's saying, well, if the car stays here for more than a couple of days, they're going to, I have to call and have it towed. That is weird to me. I understand the rules.
I thought that was a little weird too.
You then call your leadership and say, because it's going to come back, right? If this car gets towed, this is coming back, okay? So if I was security, I would call my leadership or whomever who can advocate for me with the hospital and say, hey, here's the situation.
What should we do?
I have firsthand knowledge of this person being picked up and taken away. I don't know what happened after he got taken away, but I know where his car is because I had to park it for him, right? I'm going to put all my cards are going on the table because if that thing gets towed, that man is going to file a complaint. It's going to come back to me. And the first thing they're going to want to know is, why did you move that man's car? That is not within your rights or responsibilities or whatever. And then 2, he's going to want to sue the hospital because now he's got charges for his car sitting in the impound lot somewhere. So that part,
So what do you say?
I would say real, because I've seen people act out of character for less.
Okay. Anna?
Real. As somebody who experiences chronic pain, when you say you're in a lot of pain, it means something else. It means we have gotten to a point where we just can't take it anymore. And we take it every single day. So yeah, I get it. And I do also get the calling of an ambulance. Now, my own personal choice probably would have been to go back home and call. But like Thea said, you cannot get into somebody else's head when they are in so much pain. All you want is some relief. All you want is to get back to some kind of normalcy. Like I used to be able to do things before it hurt me to literally sit down One time my dog bumped me. I kind of just fell on my butt on the couch. I ended up crushing a couple of vertebrae from that.
Mm.
And it took me a couple of days to explain to my caregiver properly the amount of pain that I was going through in my back. It wasn't going away. And this was more. This was something else. That was a really difficult for me to get it out of my brain and to communicate just exactly what was going on. Everybody sees me in pain every day. You see me go on. Every single time I'm on this show, I'm in pain. It's just, that's what chronic means. My back, down my left hip, and left leg. I have had times when that left leg just dragged. I was partially paralyzed. I've been in a wheelchair. I have been the person who said, no, I can do this myself, thank you, and gets myself from the car to the wheelchair. Or I have I have a routine with my caregiver, so I wait and we do our thing. That might seem obstructive to some, especially in a hospital setting. But if you want to get me help, you do need to listen. And unfortunately, that poor guy was just, I want some relief from this pain. And I am willing at this point to do anything.
All right. So what do you say?
Oh, I said real right off the top, so sorry.